Test that, test that. Alright, time to see how this is working. I can't tell if Twitter is working. And it says the wrong thing. Great, okay. Sorry guys, let me just fix that real quick. Supposed to say something entirely different. Yinxing is the name, I believe. How to pronounce it. Alright. Can you guys hear me okay? Just making sure, guys, if you can hear me, can you just say a hi in the chat? I see Super Typhoon High says hello, HEC. Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. Just trying to check. For me, I think it's working. Okay, good, you can hear me. Hi, so I can explain why I was late. I was down in the Keys chasing Rafael. Um, Now I finally just got home and I can do the stream. So apparently this typhoon here decided to dip down a little bit more south than expected and decided to speed up quite a bit. Wasn't supposed to make landfall until I think later today it was supposed to be. But it decided to make landfall near Santa Ana as a powerful Category 4 at around 2 o'clock. So that'd be around 9.5 hours ago. So that was pretty recent, or a pretty long time ago. Now it has made landfall. It's about to exit the Philippines right now. It's still impacting the very northern reaches of the Philippines. I would like to be able to see radar. I don't know how that's going to work out, though. We can see the very northern end of it, but we can't really tell what's going on down there. Here's a look at the satellite, though. See, Manila is fine, I think. Yeah, right now they're out of it, out of the impacts. It's mainly just the northern tips of Luzon that are getting impacted by it. Let's take a look at the latest advisory. Oh shoot, I shouldn't just randomly open up Twitter on stream. Let me try and find it first. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Twitter chat. There's people. ADS Lul's piece says Hyan's 11th year anniversary today. Is it really that long ago? Wow. Okay. Like I didn't expect it to be the. It occurred November 7th. Wow. Alan Snyder. Sorry. Holy crap! I made it to a HCC live. Welcome here. Um, Welcome. Good job on reaching it. I know I do it sometimes in the middle of the night, so it's rare I'm doing it at this time, but of course I missed its main landfall. So Lulsp says Pegasa Chasers went to the storm. Yeah, I saw that was pretty cool stadium eye they captured. I'm gonna try and see if I can find the Pegasa advisory. Just show all of you. I'll pull it up on their website instead. I think that'd be a lot easier. Okay, wrong thing. There we go. So Signal 4 warnings are in effect for the northern tips of Luzon. Alright, here's the latest cone. Still has it as a typhoon, of course. Should be a Category 4, and then Category 3, 2, 1, and then just weaken as it enters the South China Sea. Will eventually dip, and it could also impact Hainan Island and Vietnam. So we'll have to watch out for that in the long term. See, Taiwan is even getting some impacts from this storm. The northern reaches, at least, of the wind field of it. They were getting a pretty squally band right around here. Super Typhoon Haiyan in chat says Luzon. Yep. Storms always love to impact Luzon for whatever reason. Just always the northern island. You can see that the typhoon's now trying to exit land. It's been over there for quite some time, but now it's going to go back over water. I don't expect any strengthening. Here's its landfall, then it just completely falls apart. Let's take a look at the more recent frames on a mesosector imagery. Alright, there's its landfall, trying to track out where the storm's going. Because it's about to move over the water again. Shouldn't be too long. This was a pretty impressive storm, rapidly intensified. I don't know how strong it was. Super Typhoon Haiyan says, looks like a bit like Saola of last year. That is true. Impacting the same rough general area. Alright, I haven't had a time to estimate. Okay, I'm looking at the completely wrong storm. Sorry about that. I haven't had a time to really estimate its intensity. Yeah, I mean, Category 4 makes sense. Yeah, right at landfall. Wow. Yeah, probably 130 knots. Not Category 5, though. I don't see that as a... I don't know. I just don't see it. It took too long, and then it, of course, started weakening by the time it made its second landfall. Tried to recover, but didn't have enough time. Super Typhoon Haiyan says, also I'm working on a hypothetical 2025 Western Pacific typhoon season. That's nice. I can't wait to see it. I am currently working on 3 out of the 4 animations so far, Northern Hemisphere stuff. I'm working on the Atlantic hurricane season, Eastern Pacific hurricane season, Western Pacific typhoon season, and then I'll be working on North Indian Ocean cyclone season. So I got a lot of animations to do. And then I'll eventually do the hypotheticals. I think I'll just do the Atlantic and Western Pacific. Those seem to do the best. So got to give the fans what they want. All right, so active advisory. Like to be able to see signal warnings. I guess I'm going to have to look on Twitter for that. I'll plug it in on here on stream. Alright, so signal 4 warnings are the highest right now. They're in the Babuan group of islands, right up there. And they also include the northern tips of Luzon, including Cagayan, Apayao, and then Ilocos Norte, and parts of Abra and Ilocos Sur, right down here. So signal 1 warnings don't reach down that far. They don't reach down towards Manila, but they do cover a broad area of Luzon, like at least the northern half of the island. And yeah, as you go more and more to the north, you're getting worse and worse winds. Same thing with rainfall. I do want to see how quick they forecast the weakening to be. Okay. Around 10 kilometers an hour weakening every, I believe that's every 12 hours, yep. And the next update will be at 2 o'clock. I'll see if I'll stream until then or not. What are you on about? I don't know. What do you mean, what are you on about? Are you talking about what the person said in chat, or are you talking about what I'm saying with the hypotheticals? Alright. It's hard telling where the heaviest rain is. Do we have cameras here? Please tell me we have cameras. Nope, nothing. Nothing even close. Remember, we have, of course, the cameras in Luzon, but they're not getting anything. I got a nice thunderstorm right over here. Let's see if I can highlight it. There we go. Right in here. See, there's lightning there, and so this is just a squally band. I believe that's going out to sea though, or is it? What is it doing? Oops. Okay, no, I'm not trying to buy that. No, it's stalling right along the coast. I think it's going to go west over to Palanan. Of course, since it's the band, it's going to be following the system. I'm talking about Jay. Yeah, they're saying stuff in Spanish. Okay, I'll translate. I mean, they're trying to say something about a Hurricane Rafael. Let's take a look at that storm. I couldn't do a stream on that because I was chasing it. Okay, it did make a Category 3 landfall in Cuba, and it's trying to go for another Category 3 peak, possibly even 4. This will be something we'll need to watch out for. Um, let me just post something. Um, but yeah, there is the possibility it could try and reach a Category 4 peak in the Gulf of Mexico. The big thing is this outflow boundary right there is showing there's pretty dry air, so any thunderstorms that are trying to burst up are collapsing. So I think it does have a decent 6 to 12 hours maybe before it reaches its final peak. Then in theory it should try and enter the Gulf of Mexico and or Bay of Campeche. Should curve, okay, no, I can't use that. Should curve southwards and then shouldn't really impact anyone, I don't think. I mean, I know that there's areas in the cone, but it is supposed to go, south over here, and then it should hopefully dissipate before impacting land. We also have this disturbance north of Puerto Rico. That's going to be also headed towards the general vicinity of Florida, but it's going to first pass through the Turks and Caicos Islands, and then potentially onto Cuba. But regardless of where it goes, Hispaniola and Puerto Rico should get decent amount of rain from it. Then it should try and fizzle out to a trough by the time it reaches roughly South Florida and then mainland Cuba, and then onto Havana. Should dissipate, hopefully, in the Gulf of Mexico. I wonder how much damage Rafael had caused. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the stuff that's happened in Cuba. All I know is it did take its opportunity to quickly gun its intensity up to a major hurricane intensity. Um, let me just. Let's take a look at satellite imagery on Rafael. Someone was talking about that outflow boundary. On visible, you can't really see it. Well, yeah, it's right there. Here's the thing that's showing us that there's a little bit of dry air in the storm. The thunderstorms that try to burst up over here have just collapsed, and so they're pushing out all cold air. Let's take a look at that dry air. I don't know if we can see it. Yep, here it is. Yep, so this black color represents completely dry air. So this is an unfavorable environment that the tropical cyclone is going to be going into. I believe I can show that up on a program called RAM-B. We take a look at the model forecast for it. Yep, here it is right down here. I don't know how well the stream can show it. It can show it just fine. It is going to be this thing right over here. So, relative humidity, that's basically showing how moist the air is. Notice how it's already around 60%, and that number is going to keep declining to around 50%. Could even reach all the way down to 30%, but you want around 60% or higher. You want more than that. Of course, around 80% is really good. So it's gonna not be in the best environment. Shear is roughly at its peak right now. That should decrease, so it should allow for some intensification. The main thing is, well, is dry air gonna entrain on the western side of the eye or eye wall? But yeah, this whole entire area is dry, and you can tell based on that one tiny line of clouds called an outflow boundary exiting the storm. Can't see it there. And then we go over to our Yinxing. Looks like it's about to exit the islands right over there. Move that way. It's hard to tell the mid-level circulation from actually what's going on under the clouds. In general, it should have moved south a bit. It's probably still over land at this point. Someone says it probably caused $2 billion. I don't know. Yeah, Rafael. Probably, I mean, hitting Cuba as a major hurricane in November. Pretty damaging. It also impacted Havana, of course, quite a lot. I think. Maybe not in the eye wall, no, but pretty close. There are a lot of areas like Batabano that probably got hit pretty hard. Landfall location seems to be mostly fine since they only got hit by the northern side. The northeastern side was always the strongest. It was undergoing what we call an eye wall replacement cycle, so this time the northeastern side had two eye walls, most intense, so. Now it's trying to form an eye on satellite, I think. If I go back to it. Oh, wait, wrong storm. Rafael, yep, you can see the eye developing right in there. I don't know if you can see it on infrared. We'll check. Yep, it's right in there, trying to pop out. It tried it earlier, but it failed. It got covered by more convective burst. But you can see the southern side right in here, trying to wrap around as well. Because it's been the southwestern side that's been the weakest its whole life, so it needs to try and increase these cloud tops. Also, the SS in April should have been named. There's a lot of systems that should have been named, in my opinion, that it took a good amount of time for them to finally get named. Let's take a look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center cone. Of course, they do have Hainan Island in the cone of uncertainty. They do also have Vietnam in the cone of uncertainty. Could approach there as a remnant low. We'll see how that goes. In theory, though, this should be weaker than what Kongray, or I believe Kongray, no, it was the storm before it, Trammy, was when it hit Vietnam. Yeah, it should be like 45 miles an hour here, 85-mile-an-hour typhoon here, but that's going to quickly fall off. You can see the potential for another band of potentially tornadic supercells approaching Taiwan right now. Right over here. Doesn't seem to be too strong because they're a bit separated from the storm itself. Of course, more thunderstorms developing just southeast of, or just east of the coast of Luzon right here, including Palanan. We don't have great radar coverage here, so we can't really tell what's going on the ground in terms of rain. We can use this satellite to determine. And there's probably rain somewhere in here. Probably heavy downpours. So peak with a storm, it was likely close to. Okay, what's someone post about? Okay, it tried to get close to Category 5 status. It quickly, rapidly intensified, but couldn't quite make it. Hopefully, though, after this, the Philippines will get a break. I don't know, though, because we have this other system out over here that's going to try and do something similar and head towards the Philippines, I believe. I haven't taken a look at model data, so let's go ahead and do that. Could have sworn it was given like an invest tag 92W or something. Yeah, so it should head in the general direction of the Philippines, then another storm, then another, so it's kind of hard telling what's going to happen. We have three main things to watch: signal number one, signal number two, and signal number three. See if any other models are showing them. Yep, the European model does show the possibility of, well, first off, this system headed towards Hainan Island. Then we have signal number one reaching the northern coast of Luzon, signal number two just southwest of the Northern Mariana Islands, and signal number three headed towards the northern Mariana Islands. The Canadian model, same kind of situation. They want all three signals there. They have signal one striking Luzon again. Signal 2 over here, signal 3. They have signal 2 to be the strongest near the Mariana Islands and has it headed towards Taiwan. So that is something we'll need to watch out for. Does it go towards Luzon? Does it go towards Taiwan? Does it curve out to sea? We don't know yet. And then the German model, same situation, once like a weak depression reaching the coast of the Philippines. Then they have another system approaching. This one will be a little bit stronger, maybe near typhoon status when it hits, if it does hit the northern tip of Luzon. They don't really have signal 3 up there yet. Like, or what I mean by signal is like model signal. I'm not talking about signal as in warnings. But there could be another trend about this system. Don't know what that's going to do, if it's just going to die out to sea. Someone says, also was SAM 2021 a Category 5 in your opinion? Or no? In my opinion, I think it was. Recon just missed the peak, so I think it's enough to support Category 5 status. I have an animation on it, but that was made a long time ago. So yep, we have this system to watch over the next 3 days or so as it reaches the somewhere. If it's going to go up here, if it's going to go there, or if it's going to go down here. So the western, or Luzon should be paying attention to this, especially along the east coast. They would get the more severe impacts. Of course, the system might want to do what we call a little bit of trolling and just go right around the Vaegu Islands. Alright, I forget what it's called. Let's see it. The Babuan group of islands. May do that like the last few I've been doing. But I do think that if you're in Taiwan, you should be paying attention to the next storm, which I don't know where it is. I think it's this one, yep. Alright, so we can see all three systems that we'll have to watch out for. Okay, can't circle that. This right here, this is the first thing we'll need to watch out for within the next 4 days or so. Should impact the northern Philippines. We have the second signal right down here, which I think that this is the one we'll really need to pay attention to, because this one can do a large range of possibilities. So we don't know where it's going to go. Could impact the Philippines, could impact Taiwan. and then could just go out to sea, which would be nice, having a break. Then we have our third storm right around here. Seems like it could quickly develop over the next uh, 3 days or so, and then it should hopefully fizzle out. Of course, that's not the only system I'm watching. I've seen a system in the southern hemisphere that's doing a decent job right here. Could become a brief tropical depression. Looked pretty good earlier today, earlier today, and then as night fell, then it's just lost a lot of convection. I don't know where it's supposed to go. I'll take a look. It should head southwest and then generally westward. Of course, we're now entering. We are in the southern hemisphere season, so we should get a eventually a decent cyclone or something like that. Sorry. Okay. Let's take a look at the ensembles, try and get an idea of where the systems will be going. So we have four things we're watching out here. I said three, but we actually have four. We have Typhoon Yinxing. Will be our main signal to watch out for. Then we'll have our first main invest down here, I believe, somewhere in here. We have our second system, which is somewhere in here, and then we have our third down here. Let's watch all of them as they progress. Let's go in another... Okay, can't do that. Let's go 24 hours out. So most of the ensembles want all of them wanted in the South China Sea, of course, right in here. Okay, that didn't work. All of them want it somewhere in here. We have our next system developing right in here. You can see the trough where it kinks this line up. Right there. And then we have our next system down here, developing very far away from the Philippines. And then we have our third one quickly forming all the way out here. If we go down or go forward another 48 hours, you can see how some of the ensembles want it pretty close to Hainan Island. Then we have our trough right over here. There should be winds that blow generally this direction. The main thing is, well, will it develop its circulation on the southern side? If it does, and it has sustained convection or thunderstorms, then it would become a tropical cyclone. We'll see. And we have this system right here that most ensembles want it as a tropical cyclone within the next 2 days. Then we have this system in the long term that's trying to develop, going to take a long time. If we progress another day, we can see how some ensembles do want Yinxing right along the coast of Hainan Island. We have the disturbance, our first one, right off the coast of the northeastern Philippines. We have our potential tropical system right over here. Some models have it faster, some ensembles. And the Mariana Islands will start getting impacted, especially Guam, from the next disturbance, the one in the long term. Right in here, so we have four systems, of course, we're watching out for. Progress another 24 hours. You can see the disturbance. Yinxing is dying out, mostly near the coast of Vietnam. Doesn't have it continuing plowing through Hainan Island, it just has it right in here. We have a disturbance which has hit Luzon and is now trying to cross over in the South China Sea. We'll see how that goes if it tries it. Our disturbance over here, not bad. Our disturbance over here, not bad. Near Guam. Progress another 24 hours to the 5-day range. These ones we don't really need to pay attention to as much. It's mainly these two right here. This system and this system. So they're starting to spread out a little bit more, as you can tell. And if I progress further towards the 7-day range, see there's a lot of possibilities as to where this system could be and then where it would eventually end up. Don't know anywhere in here, including Japan, the Ryukyu Islands, Taiwan, and the northern half of Luzon, or northern half of the Philippines, should watch this closely. And we have this system over here, so the entire Mariana Island should be paying attention as well over the next week. Let's see. And let's just hope that the system only becomes a tropical storm or severe tropical storm. Weather Uncharted says, "Hello, HEC, I'm back. I remember you." Next name is Taraji, I think. I don't know. Someone says Becky. Um, I don't know what the next name is. And then if we pull up the European ensembles, this will show a more conservative view, roughly. Alright, notice how, let's take a look at each of these systems as we go in time. So the northern end of this one does have it hitting, okay, I'll try my best. Here, no, okay, I can't do that. Alright, but generally the ensembles have it, it does have a northward tick towards the end. Yeah, some of them, most of them do have it headed towards Vietnam there. So that's our first system, of course the one that's ongoing. Then we'll have to watch out for this system. Most ensembles, nearly all of them, do have it impacting Luzon, or at the very least, somewhere in the northern Philippines. Some do split up towards the north and potentially impact Taiwan, too far out to say. Some of them just want it continuing into the South China Sea. Too far out to say. Lots of possibilities. Somewhere in here, roughly. So yep, Manila could get impacts from it. The European ensembles do still show this little trough of low pressure developing into a storm. They don't know where it's going, and then also they have this other system developing as well. Most of them have it headed towards the Philippines, though. So we'll see if it does indeed curve out to sea or not. And then let's take a look at why all these storms are happening and, what's causing it. If we take a look at 500 millibar height anomaly, alright, this will show us a rough idea as of why these storms are moving where they're going. So it appears that this trough right here was not enough to pick it up. We have a ridge right here where you'll see these lines kink up. So this is trying to block it from going north. We do have a little trough over here which might also be trying to tug it westwards. Then we have our system down here somewhere, and here, just high pressure blocking it, forcing them to go that way. If we progress 24 hours. Alright, we can see this here. We can see a little bit of a trough right down here, I believe. Something like that, yes, right there. This system will try and go towards that initially. We have this system over here, which is being tugged by this trough, which is way too far north to fully pull it. We have these systems over here somewhere, I forget where they are. Something like that, of course, being blocked by the high, forcing them to move west. If we progress another 48 hours, then that trough here starts closing out, so it tries to block it from going there at all, so it's trying to shift it towards the south. Also, high pressure here is trying to steer it that way as well. Can't see much here. You can see a little bit of a kink, so the low's right there, one's right here, one's right here. So these are trying to move north because this is down there, trying to tug them. Another 24 hours. You can clearly see the high now, preventing it from going north, Yinxing. Then you can see our low over here, just meandering out. We don't know how strong this trough will be, and then you have a ridge right after it that will then block it from moving any further north. Can't really tell where this system is anymore. Progress another 24 hours. Yeah, this high pressure up here is going to be, or this ridge is what's going to be blocking anything from going up too far north. So then we have these two systems. These are the ones we'll need to watch long term. Of course, the trough no longer an impact on it. This ridge is now what's preventing it from going any farther north, so that they're just guiding it west, as normal typhoons do. So if we go further in time, another trough develops. This trough tries to stall this storm because it wants to tug it that way. Right here, but then this ridge will then block it. This system's still moving west. It's being blocked by this ridge. So you see, now there's a trough right in here, kind of. Let's see what that does. This system's now being pushed more to the west. Now this is very far out. So you'll notice the trough comes in right here, so it's trying to tug the system that way. This is just one model run, but as you can see, the trough moves a little bit too far to pull it northward, and then this is just one model run, so this could change a lot. We're going to see how this trough and ridge relationship work. We pretty much know up to here that this is likely going to happen. Should eventually move here. We know that there will be a trough trying to develop here. We'll see how strong it is and if it can actually become, its upper level low right here and then just drag it that way. Or is it not going to be existing? It's just going to continue plowing in towards the Philippines. And as you can see, though, it stalls right after that because a ridge builds. Just stalls it right next to the Philippines. That would be bringing, or stalls it near Taiwan, would be bringing really bad rain amounts, possibly feet of rain towards Taiwan. For Southwest Indian Ocean, it's Becky. Okay. Did we already have a name? I forgot that. No, don't make this like the 2006 typhoon season. Yep, of course, that was the year where they kept getting hit again and again late season, so we'll see how this ends up. Let's take a look at another model, like the European model. See what it shows all four of those storms doing. Let's go back to real time and track it day by day. So we have this trough right here that's trying to, well, now actually it can't do anything because this high is blocking them completely. This high is blocking them completely as well. Progress another 24 hours, trough dips down. Finally tries to reach the storms to pull them out, but they can't really make it because of this ridge right here. So this ridge is trying to prevent Yinxing from going any farther north than it already has. Go another 24 hours, the ridge is blocking it. But you can see a little bit of a hint that there's a trough right down here that might try and tug it to the north briefly. We also have a low here, influenced by this small trough. There we go, go another 24 hours. You can see how this little trough right in here tries to drag the system up a bit. You can see how it moves a little bit to the north, then back to the south as it turns into a ridge again. So in 4 days out, we could clearly see there's 4 different lows. So we got 4 different systems to track. Yinxing, we have our next storm, next storm, next storm. Right here, trough tried to influence storm number 4, but it couldn't quite make it. Storm number 3 getting influenced by the ridge here. Storm number 2, same thing. Yinxing, same thing as well, being forced to go west. Got another 24 hours out. Here's all 4 of our lows. Right here, ridge over here, ridge here, so there's not much of a trough at all to tug them north. I believe this will be the thing we'll be watching in the future. If I go out another 24 hours, we can't really see this one. That one's dead at that point. This is kind of dead. See, the ridge is trying to block it from impacting Taiwan. This storm is pretty far south, and we can't really tell where this one is anymore. So as you can see, though, this ridge right here is preventing the storm from going any farther north, so this is a possibility. It could miss Taiwan because of that ridge there. If we compare this to the GFS run, and GFS has it also slower. They have the ridges roughly in the same spot. Okay, wrong thing. Right there, they have them roughly in the same spot. Yep. Right there, right there. Since the GFS is slower, it has a trough right here that comes in and tries to pick it up. So that's relying on 2 separate scenarios. One is it's moving slower. 2, this trough forms and is gunning it. So seems more likely right now that the storm will eventually impact the Philippines. I think that the Euro model has a higher chance of verifying. There it is. And then that also could impact China as well. We'll see. Because the ridge is trying to prevent it from going too far north. Could just impact Luzon and then just generally head west and northwestward. The icon model, I think, is different than the Euro. Let's take a look at what the icon model wants. Wrong thing. There we go. Alright, this just shows the spin. So we have this system right here. Shows roughly the same scenario as the Euro. Can't show too much of this, I don't think. No. No. Okay, there we go. Alright, yep, I can't see too much on the height thing. But yeah, there is a ridge here that's blocking it, so I believe it's moving slower than forecasted, or moving slower than the... No, sorry, excuse me. Moving faster than the GFS suggests. Let's take a look at Rafael. You can see it's developing its eye slowly. On mesosector imagery, we should see it more clearly. There it is. And let's see the outflow boundary right over here, dissipating right now. But it does show that there was dry air somewhere in here. You can also tell that just from a perspective of symmetry. Notice how all the banding is mostly on the eastern side. I do want to see where the shear is coming from, because that was a big thing you could tell based on the eye wall that it was getting sheared. Alright, infrared, let's take a look at sea surface temperatures. Not too much of a problem at all with this. Oceanic heat content, that's going to be something. Does get a bit better as it reaches the, not the loop current, but just in the main Gulf of Mexico. How close can I zoom in? There we go. Alright, infrared, let's take a look at, do we have any microwave imagery so I can show you all radar? And there we go, you can see it right there, and then shear. Not too bad. Shear doesn't look to be too bad, but it is, of course, punching through. Okay, wrong color. Punching through. You can see that the eye wall is more shattered on the western side than anywhere else. Okay, sorry guys, I can't use the pen tool for whatever reason. So I just pull a microwave, you can clearly see that there is a breakage right in here. That the main eye wall is just over here. So that's the area that's getting sheared, so of course the eye wall is not going to be as strong there. But overall, shear isn't too bad. Got a nice anticyclone right there. Wow, okay. So many reports now I can see. It typically is not like this. I don't know if they've added so many more or something. But you can see so many pressure observations. Of course, some are inaccurate, like this 10, 21. It's more likely in the thousands. You can actually see a ship and how it avoided the hurricane. I'm assuming it went this way. I cannot tell. Or something moved, like from here. Assuming that's a ship. Yep. That's pretty nice. Pretty neat. Lots of buoys can show up. Let's take a look at our other system, Typhoon Yinxing, which is actually our main system right now. Alright, someone says, I think nobody predicted Rafael to be a major hurricane except for me. I think it was pretty apparent that it would become a major hurricane because it was in the Caribbean, had like little to no shear. It's just the eye wall replacement cycle is what messed it up. Um, so you all said I thought it would be a Cat 4 though. It still could become a Category 4. That's not out of the question. It's nearly a major hurricane at this point, thanks to reconnaissance aircraft that flew into the storm recently. Alright, what was I going to show this? Alright, here's Typhoon Yinxing. We should get a new cone out soon. I don't. Yeah, I think that we should get a new position update, all of that. So last position update was 7 o'clock. Nope, I'm wrong. The next one would come out at 1 o'clock, so. Uh, my fault. Trying to figure out what I was doing. Alright, zoom in some more. Let's take a look at our shear. Okay, I'll keep those on. Shear, not bad at all. That is pretty favorable. So it goes there. I want to see why that's forecast to weaken then. It's probably going to be, of course, I mean, it's pretty clear it's going to be the South China Sea that's going to weaken it. Right in here. Okay, shear is supposed to increase quite a lot. Okay, also dry air. Let's take a look at how dry that air actually is. Oh, yep, that's pretty dry. The only moistness is coming out of the storm itself. So yeah, this entire area is pretty dry. Except for a few thunderstorms developing down by Vietnam. But the main factor in its weakening is going to be shear, skyrocketing up. Sea surface temperatures as well, actually. It's not really skyrocketing up here. Mainly it's just everything is becoming in the middle, not too favorable. And then it just gets too, like, everything is kind of in the middle, so it becomes unfavorable entirely. Nothing's really helping it. Oceanic heat content should drop off a cliff, I think, there. Nope. Let me zoom out more. Not really. It gets higher, actually, in some areas. Over here, it gets lower, though. Weather Uncharted says Recon and Rafael found a central pressure of 966 millibars. Mm-hmm. Typhoon Haiyan says, isn't that Cat 4 pressure or Cat 3? That is roughly Category 2, Category 3 pressure line. It's roughly in the mid 960s is where you draw that line. Cat 4 is much lower. I forget how low of pressure that typically is. Oh, nice. We got an ASCAP pass not too long ago. You can see some of the models. One, it's a little bit more north than the official forecast or the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. So we'll have to watch how this trends on how far north it will go because, like I said, Hainan Island is in the cone, so they could get some impacts, possibly even typhoon force winds. So Cat 4 is 940. Yes, okay. I don't know. Somewhere in that range. Hard to tell. Of course, every storm is different. Beryl was like a Category 5 with 930s millibar winds. So that storm had a pretty high pressure for such a strong storm. So you can't really use pressure to determine the exact intensity. You could give a range. Like it's mainly anything under 930 is typically going to be a Category 5. Hmm. Oh, well, deep print got close to 125, 127 knots at at the system's peak intensity. What's this? One. Okay, so yeah, you could technically go 134 knots. Let me send this in. Okay, just gonna send this somewhere else. Someone's saying this was only 105 knots based off of observations. I doubt that. It was probably around 130. Surface observations are difficult to use for stronger storms. We also have a tropical depression in the eastern Pacific. This has been pretty interesting to watch. While they're still going on it. Um, Possibly generous 25 knots. Um, okay. Just trying to see, because this was an interesting storm. I think it was a tropical depression earlier than they had it. I don't know when its quote unquote peak was, or when they finally designated it. Okay, they designated it here. Could have been something here, here, here. I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, it's hard telling how good that convection actually is. Let's take a look at satellite imagery on it, more visible. Meh, I can see the circulation right in there. Hard to tell how close it is. Let's see. So it says the NAM 3 kilometer isn't drunk this time with Rafael. Why is that? Yeah, I guess you're right on that. Doesn't show too much with it. It's starting to show that storm to the southeast. Yep, you can see that other system as well poking in. Also, the Hurricane Rafael should be weakening thanks to that cold front as well. Alright, I'm going to look at the Weather Prediction Center, what it's showing on that low. Alright, nothing too bad. Alright, there's that trough low pressure. Oh, and then we get hit by a cold front. Nice. And another one approaches. So it does appear that the storm has moved offshore. Yep. So I do think that people have experienced the worst of it. It should only improve from here. Flooding is going to be a concern as we move on. Let's take a look at what pressure this station's getting. 2 mile an hour sustained. That's pretty low. Their highest gust was 52. Pressure's 989 millibars. What about this station? This station almost got a direct hit. And take a look at that pressure decrease, 981 millibars. Wind gusts of around 63 miles per hour. But you can see that line divot. I think you can. Yes, you guys can. This line divot down at the very end. Station over here. Hard to tell. We got 2.2 inches in around an hour or 6 hours. Alright, so just looking at a summary of all these systems, Tropical Depression 14E supposed to die out to sea. Nothing too bad. This disturbance could impact Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Turks and Caicos Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, and even potentially Florida, but that's way too far out to really tell. Hurricane Rafael expected to stay out to sea and supposed to die before it impacts land. No dissipation is forecasted, unfortunately. Then we have, let's take a look at our southern hemisphere storms. Right in here, we have roughly 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. These all should just meander out to sea. The only one that we're really worried about is going to be this storm. If it somehow impacts maybe the Seychelles Islands or the northern tips of Madagascar. Someone asked, what is your surprise storm of the year so far? I'd say John was the surprise of the year. No, actually Otis was, or no, sorry, not Otis. Milton, by far, was the surprise storm. I keep forgetting Milton was the thing. Anyways, then we have our 3 systems in the Western Pacific that all could become, named storms or whatnot. This one headed towards the Philippines. This one could head towards the Philippines or Taiwan. And then this one just gonna go out to sea. Last but certainly not least, we have our Typhoon Yinxing, which is also known as Marce in the Philippines. Should generally stay out to sea. Or, sorry, not out to sea, go back out to sea. And then could impact Hainan Island or go on into Vietnam. We'll see, though. Alright, and yeah, the big thing is, well, does it go to the northern end and impact Hainan Island, or is it just going to completely avoid land and stay to the southern end? Because both are possibilities. I think the higher likelihood is it impacting Hainan Island, is most models are a little bit more north of the cone here. Well, that's about it. I don't see a stream happening until like maybe 4 days. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next storm. Goodbye.